When it was time to get it lit, we got it hot like fever. Sick with the talk, passing your receiver. All about running the spot. And you know we got breath control, so no need to take a breather. Cardio kingpin, subjugate the dub play. And you know we can't wait to bring spins. A-star quizzes, A+ the final. Vocals we align, we'll move it all simultaneously over joints and rock.
Coach, the weather this time of year in the South, perfect. Fall football weather, and we've got the roof wide open here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in the heart of Georgia. Nothing like the fanfare of introductions to an NFL game, and that was in evidence a moment ago. Fireworks, pyrotechnics, you name it. This crowd is ready as their guys get set to match up between the San Francisco 49ers and the Atlanta Falcons. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line.
Here we go! 90 Wolf! 6'6", pull it high. Ready?
Now the Georgia Southern man, it's Matt Breida. And he's going to be dropped following a pickup of 7 past the 30 to the 32. You often say that sort of opens the playbook now, second and short. What do you think, early shot here?
I like where you're going. Obviously, we've been together for a while because you know me. I want to take that shot early and loosen things up.
On second down, a run with Breida. And this won't be enough to pick up the first. A gain of 2, 3rd and 1.
But we just saw a great example of what we talked about with his coach prior to the game. He's definitely one of the better linebackers at reading the play and flowing to make the stop before it turns into something big.
They'll try to pick this up on the ground with Breida. And he will have a first down as they get him to the ground at the 37. Give him 3 yards and a fresh set of downs. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. On first down, here's Breida. And just no chance of turning the corner. He can only get back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 coming up.
I know that speed is the hallmark of today's NFL game, but the key to good rushing defense is still having your linebackers set the edge.
Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again, 2nd and 10. Now a play fake, and here's Locke. He's going to fire this thing deep right side, and he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off at the 38. He's going through a rough patch throwing the football. 4 interceptions in that loss last week. Opening drive starts the game with a pick here.
But we did spend time with the head coach and the offensive coordinator and asked them, what did you see on tape? What did you see on film? And they talked about mechanics, making sure that he gets his feet underneath him, doesn't overstride, does a better job taking care of the football. And I think they're shocked as anyone to see the first one of the game here in this one.
Yeah, he needs to start heeding their advice. Give him 9 there on the first down completion.
One of the advantages of zone defense, as I remember it, is being able to see the play develop in front of you. One of the disadvantages, when they find those levels where they can hit you with it, sometimes behind the corner and in front of the safety, it makes it tough to defend.
So 5 yards there as one of the big guys up front moved.
And in a 4-3 front, you got the 2 defensive tackles right near the football. I know there's a lot of movement around there, but they're always taught to have one eye on the football. Apparently, that didn't happen.
Throwing on first down, McWilliams. That's complete to Smith. Call it a gain of 5, and it'll make it 2nd down.
Everyone's got to be able to catch the football. Doesn't matter what position you play, but if you're on offense, be aware a ball may come your way.
2nd and 5 after the 5-yard completion on first down. Ito Smith, his first carry. And he'll take it down here just shy of the 15 at the 16-yard line. 6 yards to pick up, and that's a first down. Now, look, that wasn't a huge gain, but those are the types of carries I think they were missing in their loss last week. They couldn't get him going on the ground.
Did you get the same feeling I did during our meetings, that they kind of regretted that he didn't touch the ball?
Absolutely.
You know, hey, he should have touched it more last week. They weren't going to make that same mistake, and they've taken care of that.
And he'll take it into the end zone. Touchdown, Atlanta. A 16-yard touchdown as his guys are able to strike first here in this opening quarter. So that's the rookie's first trip to the end zone, and I think it's safe to say one he'll always remember.
Oh, without a doubt. That one is going to be imprinted forever. And nowadays, we're seeing rookies make a greater impact at that position at receiver than ever before. I think mainly because of the sheer volume of footballs that they catch in college.
Now he's back out there to boom this one away, maybe with some frustration after the PAT miss. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he probably should have stayed in the end zone as he'll muster a return up to only the 14-yard line.
Well, conventional football 101, tells us if you don't get it back to the 20-yard line on a kickoff return, that's a disappointment. But some of these team special teams coaches, with approval by the head coach, they give them full authority to go ahead and bring it out and try to be aggressive, almost what we call the green light, red light theory. Green light means go, red light means stop. Looks like he had green on that play.
He's going deep for Brown, and that'll wind up incomplete. Try to give his man room to run under it, but it's second down.
Well, that's a... They look like something that they discussed all week in practice getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. Block again here on 2nd and 10. He rifles one that's intercepted. Isaiah Oliver with the INT. And his guys are going to get the football at the 37-yard line.
Well, they didn't exactly show patience there, did they? Just down a score, they come out firing right away and compound things by throwing an interception. They put their defense in a really tough spot.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10.
Go! Ready?
Throwing to start the drive. McWilliams throwing for his running back, and he's got him complete. It'll be a gain of 4, and it'll be 2nd down. We've seen quite a bit of the short passing game here early on first quarter, haven't we?
We have, and I think it works a couple of ways for this team because, number one, you throw the short game until they stop it. And if they're not going to stop it, you keep throwing it, and occasionally you'll break a tackle and turn into a bigger game. Also, if they start to creep up, start to pressure receivers, now you go over the top, take it deep, and now you get some of those big shots downfield. Partner, we know today's NFL is really built around the guy throwing the football. But these short runs, they still pay dividends because they can take their toll on a defense and they can add up as the game goes along. You control the clock, you control the ball, and that way you often control the game.
Back to throw. McWilliams. He's going to flip one out here to his running back. Now, I know it's an emotional game, Charles. You can't do that.
And when you get into your film sessions and you argue your case with your coaches, that's exactly what they say at the end. You just can't do it. It costs your team.
Here's Richardson. And the stop will come inside the 5 at the 4. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
6 yards on that last play. Here's 2nd and 4.
Hey, Sam off. Bam.
They'll try the right side here with Smith. And he's maybe going to get this back to the 4, but that's about all. No gain on the play that time, and they'll look to convert on what will be a 3rd and 4.
90 squeeze.
On 3rd down, Smith. And this is going to result in losing yardage. They're driven back to the 8-yard line. Not at all what they envisioned on 3rd down. 3 yards in the wrong direction. The kick by Fairbairn is good. And that will make our score 9-0. They got the interception, but very little movement after, and that forces him to settle for 3. And it does feel like settling when that happens, doesn't it?
It certainly does, but we got to give a lot of credit where it's due, and that's to the defense because they ran onto the field. This is what we call sudden change, right? Interception, you got to go put out the fire, and they did, holding them to a field goal.
And he'll make it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. The 49er offense set to get this drive underway. And it's been a miserable start for them offensively. Obviously, 2 drives, 2 interceptions.
And this is where you have to know your quarterback and know how you actually have to reach him. Do you do it with a little bit of humor? Maybe you break the ice a little bit like, hey, didn't we practice in that colored jersey all week, not the one that you're throwing it to? Or maybe you have to be stern with him. But whatever it's going to take to get the message, it has to be done. He's putting the game in jeopardy.
Following the pickup of 4, here's 2nd and 6.
Here we go, D. All day, defense, all day.
And that one covered beautifully. Their defenders stayed home, and they'll stop him behind the line. This will be a loss of 3, and now a much tougher 3rd down looming. Trying to get one more in here before the quarter breaks. After 1, it's 9-0. Five men in the secondary now for the Falcons on 3rd down.
Watch your slack, watch your slack.
Block off of play action. And that'll wind up incomplete. Bold play call there. Now it's 4th down.
I think you put just a little bit too much heat on that one. When you throw it to the outside, you do have to be careful because you got to keep it away from the defender, but you also have to give your own guy a chance too.
This is taken at the 18. And he takes us beyond the 35 before going out of bounds. A very good return that time. 18 yards. And the Falcons will be taking over 1st and 10. About set to begin their next drive, the Falcons offense at the line. And last time they got 3 points, but it was a chip shot field goal. And when you go to the sideline after a chip shot field goal, maybe the offense not too happy.
It's a balancing act, isn't it? Because you're exactly right. They're none too pleased that they didn't punch it in for 6 points. But they also have to remember they did put points on the board.
3 points is 3 points.
And in this league, you take points when you can get them. Not easily done.
After the pickup of 5, here's 2nd and 5.
You draw quarters. Hard.
From the shotgun, they run with Smith. And he'll get it out a couple yards shy of midfield at the 48. That one, a 1st down pickup of 8.
Boy, he does it at a high level, doesn't he? Because when I watch him, I think of his vision. Straight ahead, peripheral. Also has that sense of where holes are going to be before they actually open. I think that helps set him apart from many of the other backs in the league.
Looking to throw. McWilliams. He's got Smith here. Nothing on that one. It'll be second down.
Well, that was a simple throw and catch, but even with that completion, 0 yards gained, so they're behind schedule on down and distance.
I think they were hoping to get it to him. He could make a man or two miss, but that window closed quickly.
Come on,
Had the completed pass, but for no gain, stopped right at the line, so it's second and 10.
We got to step it up. Hey, alert 3, alert.
22 jet bomber, 22 jet bomber.
Second and 10. Flush to his right, and that's incomplete.
Oh, I like that right there. Not only was it the right play, throwing it away like that, frankly, I think it was the only play.
Yeah, got outside of the pocket, realized he had nothing, just chucked it free.
Yeah, live to fight another down, right?
An incomplete pass on second down. That muddles things a little bit here. This is third and 10.
54 is
Hey, zoom.
Check. Watch 54. Watch 54. Let's go.
Operating from the gun, McWilliams. It's caught inside the 25. And this will move the chains again as the tackle's going to be made at the 49ers' 24-yard line. So from inside Niner territory now, this is first and 10 at the 24. Back to throw. McWilliams. And he's going to go down here, a sack. They push him back to the 34.
They just gave up a sack there, and if I'm not mistaken, they gave up 4 last week, didn't they?
Yes. And just looking really porous, aren't they?
They really are, and I'm wondering if they're going to have to start thinking about keeping the tight end in, maybe a back, someone to help assist, because right now, the quarterback's been getting hit a lot in the last couple of games.
4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a third down.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play.
And it'll be intercepted. Good positioning, and it's picked off.
Well, it's third and long, and you've got a few different ways to play it offensively. But this is not the type of offense that's going to wave the white flag. They're going to keep chucking it. And this time, it results in an interception.
They'll start on the ground with Breida. Bust through the tackle. And they nearly get this all the way to midfield. Mark him down at the 49. A big run there, 29 yards and a first.
Exactly what they needed right there, because they needed to use the ground game to take some pressure off, because the quarterback's been struggling a little bit.
So one play, and they're already just shy of midfield. Once again, they run with Breida on first down. And he's over midfield and into Falcon territory. A gain of 3, second down.
What's the old expression, 3 yards in a cloud of dust? In this case, it's dust-covered pellets. It's no longer that old grass that we used to play on, right, and chew it up. Now we've got that artificial surface. You see the pellets go up. Still a nice play by the defense.
Rock it. On the ball. Shoot.
From just shy of midfield, Locke. And he's going to go down. They sack him back at the 42.
And that takes a start to have a good drive. Quite like a big loss on a sack, does it?
Now they're looking at a third and long, and suddenly the momentum shifted to the other side of the football.
And old Mo is a very, very fickle man.
15 line.
On third and long, it's Locke. And he can't hang on to it. Nearly picked. He's known for his hands defensively, but instead it just brings up fourth down. Here's Tressway now, as he'll kick it away for the second time. .35 yards that time on the punt, and that will come the offense as they take over. The Atlanta offense out there for their next drive. And there are parts of their last drive they'd like to emulate. And, of course, they'd like to forget the ending, the interception. But they did put together, Charles, a nice sustained drive to get him down the field.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, the only thing that matters is part 2, right? Because once they threw the interception and finished off the drive, that does them no good to go back and say, well, you know, we had a good one going. Finish things off. That's the only way you can get it done.
Once again, they'll go from the 23-yard line on 2nd and 10.
3 bud.
Yep. Hey, Foxtrot. Ready?
To throw again, McWilliams. And he fires one that's intercepted. It's Devin Bush, the linebacker, who picks it. And they have the football and will take over at the 24-yard line.
Here we go. 50, play.
Big stop, G. Big stop.
Breida, he'll try the right side. And this will leave him a yard short. Nice pickup of 9 yards on first down.
Come on, set.
And we've hit the 2-minute mark in this first half of action. And we'll remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll join Jonathan Coachman and the gang in Orlando. Coach will have stats and scores from the early games going on here around the NFL. And he's brought down just outside of the 10 at the 11. 4 yards the pickup, first down.
Well, that was a unit that understood exactly where the first down marker was, handed it to the guy who could run it, created some space, and he got there.
Now it's Breida. And he goes backwards here, losing yardage back to the 16. So a loss of 5, and it'll be second down.
The short field shrinks even more with the type of bodies they brought in on that play. Those extra tight ends, they weren't able to secure their blocks, and that one ended up going backwards.
Check 45 at the mic. Let's go, D.
Running out of the gun here, Breida. He will push his way down to about the 14. He'll get 2 yards back, but it's going to leave him with a long 3rd and 13. This defense against the run, by the way, they're not top 5, but they are top 10.
So what's your philosophy here? Do you try and run the ball against a team that's pretty good against the run? What if you're a pretty good running team? If so, you might want to go ahead and run it anyway because that's your strength.
In their mind, certainly a field goal try would be a letdown. They had the great starting field position, now facing 3rd down. And they get to him quickly here as he stopped right around the 13. Only a yard on the pickup there, and it's going to leave him with a 4th down.
Well, not a big gain with that play, but what they're doing is they're spreading the defense out, probing a little bit, and what they're hoping probably is that later in the game, they can create a matchup that they can exploit for big yardage later.
So the 3 points here, they're still down, but they put somewhat of a dent into that lead going into the break.
Anything helps when you're trying to chip away at a lead, but they do know that they're going to need a little bit better effort in the second half.
Get ready.
About set to begin their next drive, the Falcons offense at the line. And to be frank, they're just in a tough spot. It's only November, already eliminated from playoff contention. I know their fan base doesn't want to hear that, but that's the case. What are they fighting for now going forward?
You know exactly what they're fighting for. Is that word that some people don't want to hear, but it's pride.
Draft. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to go draft, but pride's better, right?
You know something? You're right, because that's part of it, but that's 2 different mindsets. That's front office mindset, draft position, where are we going to be and what do we need to get? And then the players and the coaching staff right now, pride. Can they win some games and feel better about themselves despite the fact they have no shot at the playoffs?
49ers have an extra defensive back on the field. A nickel set for 3rd down. Once again, they'll keep it on the ground. And they will bottle him up behind the line, and now will they use a timeout? And they're going to take a timeout defensively. So with 4th down coming up, they go ahead and burn it and say we'll see what happens. The Falcons send out their punter as he's on to punt for the first time this afternoon. And a fake here. Direct snap to the up man. And this is going to blow up in their faces. Not only do they not get the first, they're going to lose big yardage as well. So we have reached halftime in what's a 6-point game at the break. As we'll send you down to Orlando, and we check in with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach, the Falcons back to receive. They've got the lead, and they'll get this football as the second half gets underway.
Let's go, boys. Let's go.
Ready.
The Atlanta offense out there for their next drive. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking to extend that lead.
And this is where I enjoy talking about one of my favorite subjects, tendency breakers, or counters as I also like to call them. You've done things in a certain way in the first half, and they've had the ability to see what you've done. They're going to make their adjustments. So guess what? You adjust yourself and try and stay ahead of the pace because you are looking for some separation in this ballgame.
The adjustment to the adjustment.
Without a doubt. Show them one thing, hit them with something else.
It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up second down. The run got 4. Now they deal with a 2nd and 6. Second and 6. This one caught by Ridley. And this will move the chains again as the tackle's going to be made at the 49ers' 40.
They sure put the coverage guys in a stress on that one. They thought they were going deep. Ends up curling inside for a nice chunk of yardage.
So from inside Niner territory now, this is 1st and 10, right at the 40. A pretty good-looking run there on first down. That'll go for 9 yards, just short of the line to gain. A nice run there, 9 yards, and it'll be second down.
Brings up 2nd and 1 at the 49ers' 31.
The last run got 9. That leaves him with 2nd and a yard. They go back to the ground with Smith. He's got a first down and much more inside the 20. Touchdown, Falcons! Ito Smith, his 6th touchdown of the season. And the Falcons push further out in front.
Well, partner, that was another explosive run, and one thing I've learned in our time in this game, yes, the offensive line has to get a lot of credit, but for big runs to occur, the wide receivers have to block well downfield.
And then you have to have a good guy carrying the ball too, right?
Oh, without a doubt. You need that difference maker lugging the rock.
Extra point by Fairbairn, up and good. And the lead now stands at 13. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The 49er offense set to get this drive underway. And their halftime hole now even deeper. And they need a big drive here just to answer the first touchdown of the second half scored against them.
They were down at the half. Now, as you mentioned, they're down a little bit bigger. But no time for discouragement. Just got to get back to it, right? Put your shoulder against the boulder and start pushing. And try and get back to where you were to start the half.
They look to throw. It's Locke. He's going to fire one deep, middle of the field. And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete. The safety, Keanu Neal, there to knock that one free.
It's always a battle. Who's going to win on first down, the offense or the defense? Let's face it, if you've got the ball, 4 yards or more on first down is what you're aiming for. They tried to throw for it there. Nice effort to knock that one away and bring up second down.
So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10. From midfield, here's Locke. And he's going to be intercepted a 3rd time. Picked off at the 33. And the return out shy of midfield to the 46-yard line. That is now 7 interceptions between last week and this week. 3 in this game, 4 a week ago.
And I saw the head coach write on his play sheet, make a little note. I hope he's writing self-scout. Bring in the guys that scout games for you with a different eye and watch him and see what's going on, and maybe they can pick up what the flaws are, and hopefully they can correct them.
And down he goes at the 45 after a pickup of 9. Give him 9 on the play, and it'll be 2nd and about a yard.
Switch up, switch up.
2nd and 1. Finding a safety valve here. That's complete.
That was impressive to me because while it was a pass play, they still rallied to the football like they were filling running lanes, and they were able to put the receiver on the ground.
They had the catch on 2nd down, but it didn't help at all, and now they're looking at 3rd down here. And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage on the play back at the 46. Nothing doing on 2nd and 3rd down after that 9-yard gain on first. The Falcons send out their punter, as he should be able to pin him back deep here with his first punt. And they'll play keep away from the returner as this one will be marked out of bounds at the 13-yard line. Pretty good spot. The 49er offense set to get this drive underway. And 3 interceptions in this game. And I would have to think, I wasn't a quarterback, but number 4 is kind of, you're like, oh, man, I can't throw 4.
No, what's interesting is what do the coaches decide to do now? Having thrown 3, do you alter your offensive strategy? Do you take the ball out of his hands and maybe turn to the running game? Or do you have that supreme confidence that he's going to turn things around?
We'll see what they do.
Hey, team 6, team 6.
Throwing on second down. Lock. And this turns into disaster. He's not going to get forward progress. That'll be a safety. And, Charles, at some point, you can't keep worrying about big play. Can this be perfect? You just have to get the ball out of the end zone.
And in the offensive huddle, that was discussed when they called the play. Just get out of the end zone. But you know what's interesting? A lot of the times in the defensive huddle, they actually call a set and then say at the end of it, get a safety. So it's preached, it's coached, it's thought about.